welcome to our third episode of our unnamed, or do we have a name, Keith?
We have a name last week. Forgot already?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I forgot already.
Spokes and Spirits.
Spokes and Spirits.
Yes.
This is a third episode. So I was telling Keith that I was having issues kind of figuring out a proper case to talk about. But then today, all over the news, it was actually the 40th anniversary of the disappearance of Nicole Morin. And it kind of really spoke to me. So I wanted to cover it today since it's been 40 years since she's been missing. And Keith doesn't know about the case. So this will be a completely new story for him. And I'm going to start off with reading the press release that was put out today. So it's $50,000 reward announced in the disappearance of Nicole Morin. Toronto police announced a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to the location of Nicole Morin, who was 8 years old when she vanished from her Etobicoke building 40 years ago. While the case remains open, the Toronto Police Service is using this milestone to raise broader awareness around missing person investigations and public safety, particularly during the summer months when children are out of school. Nicole was last seen around 11 a.m. on July the 30th, 1985, when leaving her apartment to meet a friend for a swim. She never arrived. Despite an intensive investigation, the largest of its kind in Toronto at the time, Nicole has never been found. She would be 48 years old today. To help renew public interest, police are released an updated, age-progressed image of Nicole, showing what she might look like as an adult. This case is not closed, said Detective Sergeant Steve Smith of the Homicide and Missing Persons Unit. It has never been forgotten, and it only takes one piece of new information to make a difference. While historic cases like Nicole's remain a priority, the Toronto Police Service is equally focused on today's investigations. Each year, thousands of people are reported missing in Toronto, and vast majority are safely located, often within hours or days. Early reporting and community awareness play a vital role in those outcomes. So it just goes on just to bring awareness about, like as they said, kids are right now, they're out of school. So, they're kind of trying to remind adults to be extra cautious about their kids. And I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but Nicole Morin, I just remember this case because she's in around the same age as I was. So
you're giving away your age, Stephanie.
Yeah, that's okay. They can't see me. But back then we had something called newspapers, and it was like a hard copy of what's going on in the news. And I just remember her image being like just splashed all over the front page with her and her gummy smile. And there was also reenactments with her literally wearing like, pink and purple 80s style bathing suit. She was taking the apartment elevator down to the lobby, and she was supposed to meet up with a friend to go swimming. I'm not sure exactly where the pool was, if the pool was in the building or if she was going to a neighboring building. But she never arrived. Like her friend, she never met up with her friend, and she was missing. And on the news, this was all over the news today because they're announcing the reward of the $50,000. And they also mentioned that this was the largest investigation in Toronto history, and they did go unit to unit, checking like closets, cupboards, seeing if she was like stashed somewhere, but they came up empty-handed. It's just something as a child, like it's just such a simple thing. Like you don't even think twice. Maybe parents do think twice about it now, but at the time, that's something totally that my parents would have let me do. Like if I lived in an apartment building, they would have let me go on my own to go meet up with a friend, in the building, because you just assume it's safe. And what was odd too about the news report that I saw today was that they were installing cameras that very day in the building. So had she disappeared maybe a day later, then maybe they would have had evidence as to where what happened to Nicole. And sadly, her mom has already passed, and her dad, he's still alive, and apparently he lives in the Toronto area, but he no longer gives interviews about, her missing daughter. So, did you hear about this, Keith? Like, I know, I'm not sure if were you in the country at this time?
No, so I came here in 96. So I guess it
Wow.
wasn't, yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't televised at all in my country. Like, I'm completely unaware. I only knew about her today when you mentioned it,
Okay.
and the post that I saw on the Peel Police Instagram page.
Yeah.
So
So
this
what,
is
like,
news.
what kind of, for me, missing persons it's always like a story that always intrigues me as somebody who follows true crime, because like I'm always curious like what happens. And I think like not knowing if you were the parent of a missing child is even worse than if your child was murdered and you find out what happened or who killed them or whatever. But just like that void of not knowing, I think is even worse. So like, what are your theories now that you know a bit about the story, the background? Like, what do you think happened to her?
Well, I have a few questions before I answer that.
Hopefully I can answer them.
Were there any cadaver dogs involved in the search of the body or Nicole at all? Was there any witness?
I'm sure there were cadaver dogs because like they said this was the largest search of its kind. Okay, at the time. So I'm just assuming they had cadaver dogs, but they, like a neighbor or somebody who lived in the building, who I'm assuming still is in the building because they were filming outside the building like today. She was actually kind of torn up, and she looked very emotional still about the situation, and she said at the time she remembers the police coming in to each and every unit. So I'm assuming maybe that at that time when they were doing the search unit to unit, maybe it was still too early, but they did do that. They did search different, like every unit of people living there. So, and they also had contractors at the time, they mentioned, doing the installation of the security cameras. So I'm wondering that that's a possibility that somebody from the outside who was like in the building, maybe kidnapped or abducted her. That's one of my theories. Or what else can you think about? Any other options?
Yeah, well, that's the thing about cases that involves missing people, is that there's so many possibilities on why they started missing. It could be murder, or it could have been just they were unhappy with the life that they're living and they just want to disappear.
But I mean, that's not a possibility if you're like an 8-year-old child, right? Like, you don't voluntarily go missing. I mean, unless she was like angry or something, she had like a disagreement, and then she kind of stormed off or something. But that didn't seem like the case. Like, she obviously had no plan to meet up with a friend, and somehow that plan turned into her being missing. Obviously, play is involved, right?
Did the police actually like say that during the investigation?
Like I didn't like look up, old, video of their investigation, but they were more bringing it up like that's the only thing that makes sense. As a child, if you're already dressed up in your bathing suit and you're going downstairs, you don't have any intentions of running away. You are, somebody obviously has taken you by force.
I mean, you never know. As an 8-year-old, you already have a mind of your own and you can decide on what to do. I'm not saying that's what happened to this poor child, but there's always a possibility. I had thoughts as an 8-year-old back then when I was unhappy to just run away and disappear. Yeah. But
okay.
Until
but would you scheme and would you be like, okay, I'm gonna run away when and I tell my parents that I'm gonna meet up with Johnny for to hang out with him like at the park or something?
Maybe I wasn't as smart as her. I just wanted to just start walking in one direction and never stop until my legs got tired.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I wasn't really thinking of making an excuse or whatnot, but
I can understand that for like a few hours, but I mean, it's been 40 years.
Yeah. So maybe there is foul play involved.
Something happened. What also struck me about the news report was that her best friend, I guess at the time, also spoke, and she said that they they haven't given up. And, she urges, if there's somebody that looks like her and that doesn't know their past or questions about where they came from, um, that to come forward or, just to speak up. But I mean, I'm wondering, like, Keith, you have children. If you, like, your 8-year-old, do you think there's a possibility that the 8-year-old would be brainwashed into, like, thinking that there's somebody else? Like, if they were kidnapped?
Of
Is that
course. Everything is
sure?
a possibility. There's
Okay.
something called when a captor falls in love. What am
The
I thinking
Stockholm
of?
syndrome?
Stockholm syndrome,
Yeah.
right? And not only that, a child at that age is easily manipulated to believe anything, right?
Yeah.
So many, many theories. I just wish that there were more, I don't know, some sort of evidence out there that could point out what could remotely happen to her. But
Yeah.
I'm guessing the media is almost clueless on what happened. Like, no motives, could be just as random as someone driving by, just snatching her, right?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like there's only maybe like 1 or 2 people who know what happened to her, and that's her, possibly, right? And the person who kidnapped her. Or if the person who kidnapped her has like a spouse, obviously, they know that 8-year-old wasn't born yesterday, so they know that the kid came from somewhere else, and maybe that person knows, like, the partner of the person who kidnapped her. It's just scary to think about, you know, like the warped minds of people who are out there and who would do something like this, who would abduct a child.
So many cases. Like, remember that?
There's so many.
Maybe not so much in Canada, but there's one that comes into mind. Do you know who JC Dugard is?
Yes. But luckily that had a
happy,
happy ending, right? After how long? Do you remember, Keith?
I think it was 14 years. She
Holy
disappeared
cow.
back in the 90s.
Holy cow.
It's not as long as Nicole over here, right?
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, the best case scenario is that she's alive and that her dad will, finally find out before he dies, like what happened to her. But I think at that point, your biological father would be like a stranger to you, right? Because it's somebody you haven't seen in like 40
Absolutely.
years.
Yeah.
So, I urge all our listeners to kind of just to look up, like, I mean, we'll have an image for this episode of what she currently looks like, but I would urge everybody just to kind of take a look, Google what Nicole Morin would look like today, especially if they are in this GTA area. She was missing from Etobicoke. So, I mean, she could be anywhere by now. She's still alive, but I would urge everybody to look up, pictures of what she looks like, and kind of, if things don't match up, if she doesn't know her past, or, she's confused, or somebody looks like her, maybe, I don't know. Hopefully, we can, she's still alive and we can find her.
Yes. And I also want to urge one of my favorite podcasters. His name is David Ridgen. He works for CBC. He's an investigative reporter that makes podcasts for people who is missing or crimes that are unsolved. His podcast is called Someone Knows Something from CBC. So shout out to him. And hopefully that he will make this into one of his topics.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Before I jumped on with you, I was just kind of just Googling it, and it seems like a lot of people have already kind of taken the lead of what's been on the news, and have kind of done short, like, TikTok videos or something, or Instagram posts about the case. So it's good now that we have, that's one thing good about social media, right? To spread the news of these, bring awareness of these things, So I wanted to share that case with you because it also, I don't know. I think as a child, around, like, I think we're the same age, but in around the same age, just seeing that in the media, it just kind of brought to mind that, maybe you're not safe. Like, maybe your home, or somebody in your home, or somebody in your building, somebody in your neighborhood is watching, or have, like, bad intentions, So it kind of was the case was kind of like a little bit of a loss of innocence to me. And I remember when I was on vacation in China, this is just a side note. I kind of befriended kids because it was a Chinese tour and there was no other like English speaking kids, but I befriended some 13-year-old boy from Australia and we were staying in a hotel. So I don't know who asked who, but we were like, okay, let's go swimming today, at night after we come back from our bus tour. And I remember that the mom came. The mom literally sat on the lounge chairs of the hotel pool. And I thought that that was a little bit weird at the time. I think I was like 20 something. But then it came to mind. I was like, no, she's right. She's like a good parent because I can, even though I'm a female, who knows? Who knows what I'll do? Like, she doesn't know me. I'm just somebody on her tour group. I could be some kind of like pedophile molester person, So it just kind of brought to mind that case, like, oh, now parents have to kind of, be a bit more weary and protective of their kids and what's going on, So I thought, now looking back on it, I just thought, wow, that's good parenting, somebody who's kind of good to be there, even though she's not swimming with us. She's, watching, making sure, nothing fishy is going on and I'm not a molester or her son doesn't drown or whatever. Yeah. So it just kind of reminded me about that little incident that happened to me.
Very important to be always vigilant, right? Always mind your surrounding. Disregard age or gender or disability. Who knows? Anyone could have malintent on another person. For sure.
Yeah. Right? As a father, is there stuff that you've had to kind of change over, like, I guess the course of, when your kids were babies till now that you didn't do when your parents didn't do when you were a kid?
Well, no, I've always been, I grew up in a third world country where, crime is rampant. There's always kidnappings. Yeah. So I grew up with a lot of, mind your surroundings, always be vigilant, be prepared for the worst. And I kind of just passed that on to my children, but I didn't pass it on in a way where they should be fearful. Right? But, just be prepared, and worst case scenario, at least you have something that you can use to survive a situation, right? Because the first key of surviving is awareness. If you're aware, then it's easier for you to make sound decisions, right? Yeah. Because if you're just carefree and, you trust your city, oh, it's a good city, nothing's going to happen, then that's when they strike, when your guard is down.
Yeah. I also noticed, like, I don't have children, but when I was helping when I was talking to my cousin who has kids, he was saying that he has to like drive them to school every day. And I just thought that was so weird. Like, what do you mean drive them to school? Don't they just walk on their own? So, and then whenever I drive past schools, I notice like a whole bunch of cars. And I feel like that's something a little bit of a newer thing. I don't know.
It is.
You could tell me. You could tell me if I'm right or wrong. But I remember as a kid,
right.
I would walk to school, and nobody would be like, chauffeuring me to and from school unless I missed a school bus or whatever, or unless it was like a really bad weather outside. So I feel like that's kind of like a relatively new thing that I didn't grow up.
It is. I think it is. I was walking to school when I was, I think, 9 years old. I was getting chauffeured until grade 3.
Okay.
And then by grade 4 is probably 8 or 9, right?
Yeah.
9. So around 9 years old, I was already on my own. So.
And do you remember, like, were you a latchkey kid? Because I was totally latchkey kid. Like, I would come home by myself.
Yeah. No, there's people at home.
Be by myself all the time until my parents came back from work. And, everybody would have like a key around their, this is like going to date me again, but everybody would have a key around like on a shoelace around their neck. And they'd just go home like on their own, like kids from grade school. So I don't think that exists now. Now that'd be like child abuse or something, or child neglect.
It's still out there. I'm pretty sure there's some latchkey kids there.
Really?
I wasn't a latchkey kid in elementary, but I definitely am during high school. I would
Yeah,
go home
right.
in an empty house most of the time, and dinner's already in a Tupperware, and I just have to heat it up, kind of thing.
Yeah. So what is the rule now? Is there a rule like you can't leave your kid at home until whatever age?
By Ontario laws, and this, I think this needs to change. There's no actual age.
Really?
Yes, but it is your responsibility for your child to be safe. So the cops, if they catch you leaving your young ones at home alone, and the cops deem that they're not safe, then they can slap you with that charge.
Yeah. Or look into like some kind of
Yeah,
CPS like type thing, right?
yeah. But like say, I would say the safe age is 13. That's for me. I think that's the right age to have them be a little more independent. Because I think you're already you know how to make good decisions, roughly. I would say, not maybe not completely, but I mean you know how to take care of yourself somewhat for a little bit at 13, right? I wouldn't leave a 13-year-old overnight or throughout the weekend, but if I'm just coming home late from work and they get home before me, I think they should be fine for like a couple of hours.
Okay. And I'm gonna ask you a question since you have the experience of growing up in another country and Canada. Do you think
Philippines.
Philippines? Do you feel like kids growing up in like another country, do they have more common sense than kids growing up in a first world country?
I don't want to sound biased, but I think third world country kids are a little bit more, more on the common sense field, because
Okay.
there's so
Okay.
much danger, right? Like
Right, right.
anything can literally kill you, whether if it's food, other people, the weather, anything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Plus, there's always like elders that would kind of give you good advice for life or whatnot. Like what I've noticed when I move countries are like we're more. I mean, we have neighbors here, but we're not as close as
Hmm.
neighbors back
Right.
home. I
Yeah.
mean, back home, like you wouldn't see a time where one of your neighbors are over your house without any, like warning. They just show up and hang out with you. It's like the entire community is like a family. That's how
Right.
close we are. We know if something's down, if something's like, I don't know, health
But
issues.
that could be a weakness as well, right? Because how many stories have you heard about like Uncle Joe who lives across the street who's like, who's babysitting your kids and you let them babysit your kids, but then happens to be like a pedophile. You know what I mean?
No, no.
So,
I mean, it
I
happened
mean, there's
very close to my
also
family. I had a cousin that got
what?
molested by our neighbors.
My gosh.
Yeah, I think he was only like
See?
9 or 12. This is one of my cousins,
Holy shit.
and it was the next door neighbor. And we know this guy. Like this guy, I didn't know that he was like that because he wasn't like
Of
that to
course
me.
not. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one of my cousins. So yeah, yes, it's
Holy cow.
also a bad thing. But
Yeah. To be closer to your neighbors, right?
that's
I
why you
mean,
have to be
it's,
vigilant, and that's why third
yeah.
world kids have more, common sense.
Yeah, I think so too, just based on the people that I meet from other countries, that are adults. They seem to have more common sense than people who grew up here with no issues, with like pure, like la la la, like everything's great, So I feel like they're just more prepared,
Yeah,
for when
it's a
things
little more
go
carefree
bad.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit carefree, which is could be a bad thing, right? If you don't have your guard up like you mentioned. Okay. So, just a reminder, please Google Nicole's image and hopefully I don't know, I just hope to find an answer before, like before her father dies about as to what happened to his daughter who was just 8 years old at the time when she disappeared.
Yes, and Nicole, if you're listening to this podcast, please go home. We hope you're
Yes.
safe.
Yes, I hope she's safe too, and she at least has someone who's taking care of her. What's going on there?
Sorry, my daughter is here. She's looking for something. Esme, you want to say hi to our audience?
And how old is Esme? Just so that I have a reference as to, you know, how old kids are at what age.
Just turned 9.
Wow. Okay. So she's in or around the same, a little bit older than when Nicole was missing.
Sorry, I say that again. I took out my
So
headphones.
so
I
your
was closing
daughter
the door.
so your daughter is in around, like, she's just a little bit older than when
A little older than
Nicole
Nicole.
went. Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully you're teaching her
Whenever she's out in the backyard, I have her walkie-talkie with her.
Awesome.
So I can communicate with her every time.
And are they taught stranger danger in school?
Of course.
Like, are they anything? Okay.
At school, at home, anywhere.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they know how to handle it if it ever comes. Plus, they're
Okay.
always with their friends, right? So the more there are, the harder they are to target.
Let's hope so. Okay.
Buddy
So
system.
stay safe. Yes. Stay safe, everybody. And this summer, if you have kids, just be, aware that danger can be anywhere,
Anywhere.
It could come in any form. It could be any age. It could be any gender, neighbor, family. I don't want to say that. It kind of pains me to say that, but I mean, just be careful when you're leaving people with, like, babysitter who seems to be, friendly, helpful, because, could be anybody.
All right. So do you want to talk about my bike part review now or accessory?
Sure. Okay, I'll throw it to you, Keith, since you have a bike part to review.
All right. I forgot what the name of the segment is.
Folks.
Well, Spokes and Spirits is the title of the... What did I tell you? I think it was... Anyways, I want to talk about the Sensa Empire Pro carbon group set. And
okay, I don't even know what that is.
How
what
familiar
is that?
are you?
What is that?
Okay. So that's good.
I'm
That's
not
good
familiar
you're here.
at all. At all.
Stephanie rides bikes, but she's not really an enthusiast like I am. So
no,
let me tell you
I'm
what
not.
let me tell you what a group set is, Stephanie.
Okay.
So you know the parts on the bike that switches gears?
Okay. Okay.
That's part of a group set. So essentially
Okay.
a group set is your wheels,
Okay.
your brakes, your cogs. The cogs
Okay.
are the gears at the back.
Is that the thing that connects to the chain?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Your chain ring. The chain
Okay.
ring is where the pedals are connected. And the
So
shifters.
So the group set is considered the wheels, the stuff to change the speed, and like the shifters on the handlebar.
Yeah, and the brakes as well.
Okay. Yeah. That includes the brakes, right?
So when you say I bought a new group set,
Okay.
that means you change all the parts of the bike.
Wow. And you did this recently? Is that why you're reviewing this?
It wasn't recent. I did it last year. But I wanted to share how great of a purchase it was. I was really proud because normally in the cycling world, there are only 3 big manufacturers for group sets. Like, this is like your Toyota, your Honda, your General Motors kind of thing, right? So we have Shimano right on top. We have SRAM second.
Yep.
And then we have the bougie Campagnolo Italian made, which is like, they're great, but they're super expensive.
Of course, right? And I'm guessing it's also expensive to fix as well, right? If it breaks.
Absolutely, because most of the parts for that is exclusive for that company. Unlike Shimano and SRAM, most of their parts are interchangeable, so you can mix and match, right?
Okay.
You can probably mix and match with Campagnolo, but very limited. Yes, of course.
Campagnolo, did the group set come first or did the bike come first? The brand of the bike? What came first?
Campagnolo was a group set right from the beginning. And they still don't make bikes. None of these group set companies make bikes. I don't think SRAM or Shimano has a bike. They're only bike parts.
How come I'll see like bikes on like marketplaces says Campagnolo if they don't make bikes?
They're probably just talking about the group set that's on the bike.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
So, but it's possible to see the bike that's branded with Campagnolo?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can buy any bikes and you can equip any group set on it.
Okay. So how did you decide on what group set to purchase?
Well, like I said, I was in a budget.
Okay.
And those 3, Shimano is probably like the best choice for me because
Okay.
Shimano is the most popular one.
Okay.
But I could only afford the cheaper version. So in Shimano, or actually in any group sets, there are tiers.
Okay.
There's
Yep.
like premium, mid, and like budget. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that we're gonna jump in, I guess, sometime
Yeah.
in the future.
Okay.
But Sensa, which is like another group set company, but it's China based and it's a smaller one. There's a bunch of emerging Chinese group set manufacturers, right? And Sensa is one of them. Surprisingly enough, Sensa is consisted of former SRAM employees.
Really?
So they have a little bit of SRAM technology in there.
So
Maybe
SRAM, what country are they from? If you know.
US.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But
Sensa
you know how
is
they
Chinese?
outsource all the time,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
probably a US company, but they have their R&D in China or something like that. Or
Okay.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
Taiwan's another big country where they manufacture anything related to bicycles. So I bought the Sensa Empire Pro carbon group set.
Okay.
For,
Sounds fancy.
I think it was around $400. You get the shifters, the derailleurs, and the cog, I believe. And it's a 12-speed. So that's like the normal for nowadays. Usually in the World Tour, which is the professional racing circle, they use 12-speed nowadays.
So I have a couple of dumb questions.
Yes.
Where do you buy group sets? Like, do you go on Amazon or do you go to like a bike store or like where do you buy them?
Oh, anywhere. You can get them on bike stores. You can get them online, AliExpress. Mine in particular were bought off AliExpress.
Really?
Used markets would have them.
Yes.
Just make sure that it's compatible with your frame. Again, another hole that we have to visit one of these days, because there are bicycles that are only rim brakes for the frame and only disc brakes, right?
So you said your purchase, it was like lower, your budget was lower. So lower. Is $400, that's considered low for like this group set? Okay.
Absolutely.
I have no idea. I don't know how much these things are.
You're going to learn a lot today, Stephanie.
That's why I'm here to ask you these dumb questions, because I'm sure like people like me who just get on the bike and ride, they don't know about these ins and outs and stuff like that. And if you bought it on AliExpress, another dumb question, do they have like fake SRAM parts or fake Sensa?
Yeah.
So how do you know like if you're buying it from like a legit, like from a legit source?
So it's when you're buying like SRAM, Campagnolo, or Shimano parts from AliExpress, it's usually a hit or miss. So I wouldn't recommend buying it off there. Okay. But when it comes to like, the smaller Chinese manufacturers or Taiwanese manufacturers, they actually have a store, which actually says Sensa store on AliExpress. Okay. You're buying directly from them.
Okay.
So more than likely, plus they wouldn't fake it anymore because it's already a non-common group set.
Right.
So for sure you'll get like a genuine bike part if you buy directly from the store.
Okay, so after you order it, how long did it take to arrive?
It's about three weeks, I believe.
Not bad. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was wrong with your old group set? Did you want to just upgrade it, or was something broken?
Yeah, so when I got that bike, I have a cheap bike, an aluminum tri-band RC100 from Decathlon, which is my favorite store, by the way. It came with yeah, unfortunately they closed. But you can still buy online.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I bought it, the group set was very limiting for me, at least, for the type of riding that I do. Okay. It came with a single chain ring. So that's the cog at the front where your pedals are attached.
Okay.
And a 7-speed at the back.
Okay.
So it has a 44 teeth. So this is the actual teeth that grabs your chain.
Okay.
The more teeth you have at the front, the harder you pedal, but also the faster you go. and quite
Okay.
the opposite at the back. The less teeth you have, the faster you go, and the more teeth you have, the easier the gear is. So
Okay.
the front has 44, and the rear has a 13 all the way to 28 gears, 28 teeth rather, and it's only a 7-speed, right? So
Okay.
the less gears you have, the harder it is to find the perfect cadence, depending on if you're on a flat road or a slight incline or a steep climb. You're always in between. So
Okay.
I decided to upgrade it to a 22. It's 22 now because it's 12 at the back and 2 at the front. But then again, I also switched it to a 1x at the front, but I'll tell you guys the reason why. So I bought the Sensa group set so I can have more options
Okay.
because I do ride a lot. I think when I bought the bike, it was more targeted to a casual rider
Yes.
because of the limitations of the gear and all that. It didn't even have, so the gear shifters are normally on the brake hoods, right? This one had like, what do you call it? It's like the old school lever shifters, but it wasn't even in a down tube. It was connected to the handlebars. So every time I go off saddle, I would hit it with my knee, and then my bike would just shift unexpectedly. So the first upgrade was to change the shifters. So I had a
Okay.
7-speed shifter,
So
but
another dumb question coming your way. So you wanted to upgrade your gear set or
group
your
set.
group set.
Yeah,
But do these things wear out? Do these
of
things
course.
break? And that's another reason why you would want to
Yeah,
change it out? Or did you just
yeah,
want to change it out because it was like, you were like the bike was a casual bike, but you wanted something a bit more faster.
yeah. No, it was both because by the time I
Okay.
decided to change it, the gears were already worn out.
Okay. Okay. So it's good
Yeah,
timing anyways.
yeah. And I
Okay.
think I would suggest to not just upgrade your bikes if your parts are still new. I would
Okay.
suggest
Okay.
to do it when it's worn out and use it as an opportunity to have better parts, right?
Right. And
To save money.
did you have any idea of how to change this out, or did you just teach yourself how to do it?
I taught myself. I can't speak. I taught myself. I watch a lot
Okay.
of GCN videos, Park Tool videos. It's not that complicated.
Okay. So how long did it take you to change this out?
The actual job itself, or
Yeah.
you want to include the wear and tear
Like just to
to
like
swap it
put
out?
in. Yeah, yeah.
Probably less than 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Okay.
okay, hold on. If you want to talk about the whole group set, I was only thinking about changing the cogs. So
No,
the
no,
whole
no.
group
Like
set would
the
probably
whole
take
thing.
you a good 2 hours or so.
Okay, that's still not bad.
Yeah, because
Okay.
you have to swap out the chainring. In this case, I swapped out my entire crank system. So the
Okay.
cranks, the cogs, the derailleurs, both front and back, the brake hoods, and then you have to line up the cables as well. So
Okay,
two to 3 hours, I'd say.
did you do it right the first time, or was there like,
Yeah.
you put it in and then you kind of like pedaled and something was kind of funky, so you had to redo something?
No, I think I did it in one shot.
Oh, awesome.
Once you have everything together, you just have to fine tune it, right? So maybe
Okay.
you have some adjustment on the brakes, make sure that they're centered. In this case, I didn't really change the brakes because Sensa doesn't offer brake calipers. Sensa only
Okay.
has the shifters, the brake hoods, the cogs, the chain, and I don't even think they have their own chainring. I just reused the old upgrade that I used to have, which was a Shimano Claris, but I have since switched that over to a 1x setup now too, because I wanted simplicity on the front gear shifting. A 1x setup is just reducing it to one chainring instead of having
Okay.
two. It limits your gears, but it simplifies your shifting.
And if you were to rate this job easy, fair, or difficult, what would you?
Are we talking an absolute beginner? Or are we talking
Yes.
like someone who has experience with bike parts?
Like I'm thinking beginner.
if you don't know what you're doing, it's gonna be a little tough, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah,
So medium to difficult.
I would say medium for a beginner,
Okay.
maybe even difficult. Like I've been tinkering with bikes for a long time now. That if I was given the job to change a group set, I would probably know how to do it properly.
Okay. But before this time, did you have any experience changing out the group set? Or
No,
no, this is your first time at
this
it?
is my I think it's my second group set, but the first group set was being upgraded slowly.
Okay.
So I first you change the shifters, and then I changed the front chain ring. I put a 2x on it. Yeah. So it was slowly changing.
Okay, so you're happy with your purchase.
But yeah.
And
but
I
I
all's
wouldn't
good.
I wouldn't say it's really good. I'm going to say that for the price, it is excellent. But don't expect any like solid performance from any of the big three. Like it's almost there, but it still doesn't compare to like perfect shifting. Like even I had a budget Shimano system, and I feel like that shifted much better than this one. Like this one, I had to keep adjusting it. It's not as what's this word I'm looking for? It's not as
Smooth?
refined,
Okay.
I would say,
I got
but
it.
it looks great. It has that carbon fiber weave look. It
Okay.
looks fantastic, and it's
I
also super light.
personally,
But
I would have no clue. Like, I think as a casual rider, you would have no clue, right? Like, if I
yes, of
jumped on
course,
your bike versus my bike, I wouldn't know the difference.
yes. But
Okay.
keep hanging out with me, Stephanie, and you'll probably be tinkering your bike too.
I doubt it. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. Hope you got something out of either the case and or the review of the bike parts, as graciously done by Keith.
Yes, and I wouldn't say happy anniversary. It's hopefully she's still out there.
Yeah, that is my hope too, that she's alive and well, and that her father gets answers.
Come home.
Yeah, come home, Nicole. We're waiting. Everybody's waiting for you. We haven't forgotten about you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Until next time.
All right. Thank you for listening, folks. And Stephanie, it's always a pleasure to be right by my side here in this little podcast experiment we're doing.
And hopefully my questions weren't that dumb, but
no, again, absolutely not.
They're coming from somebody who has absolutely no clue about changing out bike parts.
And I think you're a good medium. You would be like the audience representative for someone who's not familiar with bicycles.
If they're staying for that segment, right?
If they're staying for that segment, yeah. Which I hope they do.
Hopefully. It'll be a surprise. Like, I mean, this one...
Like always.
Yeah. No, I think it's better that way. But again, I was clueless as to what case to present, because there's just so many. But the unfortunate news of it being the anniversary today really prompted me to talk about it, because I just remember it so vividly as a child growing up. So hopefully it helps, and hopefully we get answers on her case.
Yes. And again, thank you for listening, folks.
Okay. Until next week.
Have a good evening, good morning, or good night.
Have a safe week.
Safe week. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.